Hello, 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 hello. Wherever you are on this mesmerizing planet called Earth, I hope you are having a marvelous day, evening, night, wherever you're located. Welcome to my Blender channel, where I talk basically about things 3D, but today it's a Blender exclusive title because I'm dealing with the shaders, the shader nodes in Blender. I know every 3D program have them because I've checked Maya has nodes, definitely Houdini, and maybe some of the others. Nodes are the way of the future. My topic for the day is to go over something that you probably never see. I was watching a video on how to use nodes on one of those paid websites. The guy had this exact same screen. The cube cut diagonally in half, one side white, one side black. As you can see right here, I have my texture coordinate, my add math node, and my material. Here, that's simple right there. What he was just doing was using math nodes to manipulate it. But here's the thing they got me, people. Like you've probably seen this before. He never told me once what in the world does that black and the white thing mean. Now, I do know it's simple math. I'm going to go over that. It's simple math. I don't expect somebody to explain the details to me when they're making a heart shape or some tiles. I don't expect you to give me everything. But when it's just a simple geometric algebra 1 topic, at least tell me what's going on with the node. Tell me why it's black, why it's white. He didn't even go that far. It's simple math, algebra 1. I said, what? And see, I couldn't even progress far in the video because I was wondering, how is it like that? How? And I know how. I'm going to go over it now. You see with my texture coordinate node, when I watched this video, it was on object. That's the one that they use the most. Object. Texture coordinate object. Then I had to add the material. I know why it's like that. Let me get my pencil to start it off to help you. Because with the math nodes, it's best to have a little idea what's going on. I'm still new to nodes like you. I've been doing it for a month. But to get the handle of the and like I said, the most famous node to use when you make procedural textures is that math node. Master the math node, we on our way. Because they use that thing, the math node, a lot. At the texture coordinate, that math node is used extensively, at least from what I've seen. Alright, so let me start this right now. Oh, before I start, I like to do this to give myself more real estate. I like to take my little arrow right here, right click, join. You see I have more real estate. I like to go to the top. Go right here, right click, join, that. Now I have more area to work with. And I can bring the material. I don't need the material. I can bring this down some more, zoom in a little bit more. Because being able to see those grid lines is what's important. Top. The grid lines, to understand this, is important. Alright, so let me start this off. And where that cursor at, that's important to understand that diagonal. So let me go to my nodes. We know this is 0 right here. Right there. I want to change this to a nice. Oops, I want to hit this to a nice color. Let me see, tools. Change this to. I'll make it like a reddish color. Oh, that's too light. That's too. I guess green is a good color for this. All right, I'm done with that. And all right, so with the texture coordinate, let me see. The center is 0. I'm not going to show you the real stuff. And from there, you basically have I'm using my hand, so I'm sorry about that. So it's going to look chaotic looking. You basically have a Cartesian coordinate, and it's best to have a familiarity, at least with this shape. It's good to have at least a basic knowledge of Algebra 1. We know this is positive y right here, which is really like a 1. It goes up to 1. This is x right here. I should change the color. I should make it a reddish color. Hold on, I'm going to hit N. I want to make it more reddish because it's hard to see that green when I'm on a white. Okay, so we can see everything on. Okay, that's a little bit better. Should I make it a darker red? Okay, I'll leave it right there. I'll leave it right here. That's good enough. Okay, so we know this is positive 1. We know this side is negative x, which is max value negative 1. We know this is negative y, and its max value is negative 1. That's the important thing to know right there. Then also, I want to zoom in some so we get an idea. I want to see something. How many little lines there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See? And it's you can think of the lines like this. I'm gonna type it in right here. This is. I'm only gonna do a couple. Well, let me get back to my annotate. This is. Let me see. Annotate. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. On this side, negative 1/10, negative 2/10, and on and on and on. It's the same in the y direction as well. Like I don't have a lot of space, so it's the same in the y. I'm doing it by hand. Negative 1/10, negative 2/10, negative 3/10, and the same way up here. The same negative. This 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. Over this side, negative 1/10, negative 2/10, negative 3/10. So I hope you got that down. That's the math part. So I say it's good to know basic math. I'm going to erase all of this now. So that's important. The center is 0. I can erase all of this now. And mathematically, I don't want to fight nobody, but the equation for this is y equals negative x. That's all it's equal to. And I want to get one more thing out. Let me hit my N key. I like to go to view so we can see location. Okay, good. So that's why I want the location 0. So my location is 0, x0, y0. We don't have to worry about z. We don't have to. That's another demon to deal with. So I'm gonna work this out. If x equals 1/10, and we did it on the grid, 1/10, then I should make the x look better. Let me erase this x and make it look better. I'm sorry, people. X equals 1/10. So y equals negative 1/10. Hence, y is equal to negative 1/10. Negative 1/10. And I'm going to type it in right over here. I'm going to say x, and let's see where that cursor lands at. X equals 1/10, and y is equal to -1/10. And you see, that's it. It's still on there. So I had to figure that out. So I discovered that I knew that was the equation automatically, but I needed to work. Now, when you go to the add node, let me erase this now so I'm done with that. When you go to the actual add node, I'm going to go to the add node. I'm going to click on the word add, and you will see it showed a little symbol for add. On add is equal to, it will show this when you click on that. A plus B. So if the math node, there's really some math, but we don't have AB. We just have X plus Y. And knowing if you know the commutative law, I spelled it wrong. I'm sorry if I spelled it wrong. You know it don't matter. When you add, I can have X or Y. I can change the numbers up and it'll still be the same. I'll give an example. In my first one over there, I had X is equal to 1/10. An example I just now did. And Y was equal to -1/10. I'm going to change it now for the plus, for the commutative property. I'm going to say X equal to -1/10, and Y is just equal to 1/10. Let's see what that gives us. X minus 1/10 and Y that's 1/10. And you see we're still there. That's not different, but the add is the same. We're still on that line though. We're still there. So I discovered that. Let me erase this now. And I discovered it. But now here's the real magic right here. With this equation right here, you know the center is 0. So this was, because when we have to get to, when we use the math nodes, we cannot do it like this anymore. No, we can't do it like that. I have to change that to, I'm using properties of algebra. Y plus X equals 0. What I basically did was I added X to both sides. Add X to both sides. Add X to both sides, and you'll get this right here. That's how the math node showed it. So basically, the order don't matter. But basically, in this case, I'm letting A become Y and B become X. And the magic is, it better add up to 0 to stay on that black, to stay on this black line, to stay on this line right here. To stay on that line right there. Whatever I do, better keep adding up to be 0. That was easy. I just give one example for this. Then I'm gonna move on to the thing that take up a lot of my energy. This the easy part, cause you know. So it's right now it's on 0, the center. So, for instance, if I had -2, and it's hold up, and it's best remember. The max values is 1 and -1. Don't be putting no numbers like 2, 3, then it's going to be all white. See, if I put the number 2 in here, if I put big numbers in there, the mouse going to be off the screen. I'll give an example. I'm going to put X as 2. So you see it's off the screen. So your max value, in this case, if I'm going to the left side, is -1. So you see the mouse right there. So those are your max values. I better put that on the paper. So your max numbers. Max is -1 and 0. All 4 directions. Those are your max values. So anything in between got to be decimal values or percents. Decimals or fractions, but it's best to put it in decimal form. So we got that. Max value, lowest value, -1. Max value, 1. In the middle is 0, and you can use decimals. So I'm coming down to this one. My y will be 2/10. And I need my answer to be 0. So I have to say -2/10. And I should get 0. And it should be on that line. So for y, I'm going to put -2/10. What is that? -2/10. I had to put that decimal. And for x, I'm just going to put 2/10. I add those up to 0. And you see it's still right there. It's still there. It's still on that line. So I had to do the thinking. That's it. It fit my equation right here. It fits that equation. But we got to stretch it out to a plus b. So I'm going to do my next one. I'm going to say negative. I'm just going to say 9/10 this time. Plus -9/10. And my answer must be equal to 0. I'll come over here. In this case, I'm going to put y. Y is 9/10 plus x equals -9/10. And we see it in the upper corner, but it's still on that black line. So we understand that. We understand when I had the math no equal to 0, we understand that. All right. Now, here's the part that requires some thinking right here. I'm going to get into the next part. Let me erase all this stuff. And the graph part, now, the grid part is important now. You're going to see why the grid is important. Let me see if I can zoom in a little. Let me go up and zoom in. And slide over. I want to zoom in. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to change my add value to 1/10. 1/10. But here's the magic now. Remember, my 0 was here. But for this graph, it dropped down. So it dropped down -1/10, -2/10. It dropped down to -3/10. So that's what it dropped right here. This still make the center right there. So for my new equation, I have to say, remember, it dropped. I have to say A plus B must equal to negative. I went down, but it dropped down. -3/10. So when I do all my math, I better keep getting that -3/10. So I said, see, like I said, now I think I understand why the guy couldn't explain it and just show how to do notes, because it probably would take 30 minutes just to explain all this stuff. And some people don't like math. But I said I'm inquisitive. I had to figure out why it looks like that. So now we know it dropped down. And you can keep dropping it down different level, but I'm going to stop it right here. This one demonstration is good enough. It dropped down to -3/10. So let's do our math. My first example, I have, remember the order don't matter, but I'm just going to say A is 6/10 plus negative 9/10, which equal to negative 3/10. So let's see. It should be still on that line if I did my math correct. If I did my math correct. So for, I just put my first number. I put X. It's 6/10. Remember, the order don't matter. 6/10 and negative 9/10. And we see right here, it's on that graph. So that's it. I'm gonna do one more, then I'll call it a day. But I said, at least I understand this when a guy was just throwing it on the screen without explaining nothing. He ain't explaining not one thing about this. I'm gonna do one more, then I'm gonna call it a wraps. You all got the idea. I'm gonna say, what was the bigger number? I'm going to do 4/10 plus negative 7/10, which should equal to 3/10. That should put me right on that line. So for over here for X, I'm going to put 4/10, and for my Y value, make sure it's negative 7/10. And you see we right on that line. Here we go, right here. Right there. I'm going to try. I'm going to make my X. Well, I'm going to do it the reverse this time. I'm going to type in. Nope, it won't work. Let me see. Will it? Because it has to be negative 3/10. It has to be negative. I'm going to type in negative 2/10 plus negative 1/10. And that should give me negative 3/10. Let's see if that works. I'm making this up all of a sudden, people, so I hope it works. I hope my math correct. Negative 2/10 and negative 1/10. Oh, it didn't change. Negative 1/10. And there it is, right here. So it worked. So it's still on there. So thank you for stopping by, my good people, to explore something that was not discussed in the video that I watched on that page site of what in the world is this mathematically. Now I understand. So I hope you understand a little bit more about the math node. When it comes to simple shapes, there is a simple math equation behind it, like we see. Because that is a vertical line. And I know a vertical line has to have an X in it somewhere. In this case, this happens to be Y equals negative X. Because it's decreasing. So I hope this video gave you some insights on the add math node when it's not connected to separate X, Y, Z. If I did that, it would look a little bit different. So don't give up on your 3D art. Keep moving forward. Like you see, I continue to push my knowledge and continue to learn. You do the same thing. Till the next time, to the family, peace.